You think when a country is being invaded, everyone would be allowed to be armed. War in Ukraine didn't turn every living room into an armory. So who actually gets a gun? And what can they do with it? Stick around while I explain the process of getting a gun in Ukraine today. Chapter 1. A quick history on Ukraine gun culture. Ukraine sits between empires, and that shaped how people see guns. The Cossacks treated weapons as part of community defense. Carry your weight, protect your neighbors, things like that. Later, under the Soviets, the government kept the guns. Ordinary people couldn't just own what they wanted. Hunting was allowed in clubs, but city families didn't keep a pistol in the nightstand. That mix, pride and self-reliance plus decades of tight control, still explains the mentality today. When the war hit, martial law hit. People were ready to defend. They weren't ignorant to weapons, but they looked to the state for rifles with rules, not just a free-for-all. Now, if we have anyone from Ukraine watching, let me know. Do you carry a firearm right now? Chapter 2. Having a gun in Ukraine. In 2022, authorities handed out tens of thousands of automatic rifles and millions of rounds to stand up territorial defense, also known as duty rifles. These are mission tied, not your private property, and must be returned within 10 days after martial law ends. Outside duty rifles, the civilian rules ride on Interior Ministry Order number 622. Civilians can be licensed for smoothbore shotguns and non-automatic rifles if they meet age, vetting, training, and storage requirements, which we will get into the next chapter, so stick around. Handguns remain broadly off limits for ordinary civilians. Very little exceptions happen. The cabinet expressly allowed civilians to use their declared privately owned firearms to help repel armed aggression during the war. Now, carry and transport. Normally, civilians, even with permits, aren't allowed to carry firearms concealed or out in the open. Now, wartime measures allow public carry. That is not the peacetime norm whatsoever. When exceptions end, you're back to 622 era restrictions. For civilian long guns, transport is typically unloaded in a locked case, and travel consistent with your permit context. Now, storage at home, license holders are expected to keep firearms unloaded and locked in a safe. Police oversight ties to the licensing system, and obviously there are restrictions. Full auto is outside the civilian licensing lane. Issued automatics are duty weapons, not private collections. Suppressors are generally restricted. There isn't a clear nationwide consumer mag capacity ceiling like a 10-round rule in statute for civilians. The emphasis is licensing, storage, and transport, while duty rifles use standard military magazines in a separate mission context. Now wait till you see the process to getting a gun. Chapter 3. How to get a gun in Ukraine. Now there's no self-defense license path. You must claim a permitted purpose. Hunting, sport, or collection under Interior Ministry Order 622. First, to get a gun, you have to be over 21 for smoothbore shotguns and over 25 for rifles. Like I said earlier, pistols are generally prohibited. You do your police application at the local licensing office, including a clean record certificate and proof of purpose. Again, that's hunting ticket from the state forest agency or a member letter from a shooter's club. Now expect renewals every 3 years. Medical clearances, typical certificates from a psychiatrist and narcologist, that's a substance abuse specialist, plus basic exams. You'll need to do a short weapons handling course at an approved provider. They go over parts, safety, storage laws, etc., followed by a police recognized test. Duration varies by provider, but they're often a day or two. At home, you need a bolted safe. Police may verify that. Official state fees are modest but vary. Processing can take weeks depending on region and paperwork quality. If you've gone through this, let me know how long the process took for you. Alright, so you legally own a gun in Ukraine. Now, can you use it to defend yourself from an attacker? Chapter 4. Self-defense in Ukraine. Ukraine's criminal code recognizes necessary defense. You may use force to stop a socially dangerous attack if your response is necessary and sufficient to stop it. There is no duty to retreat. If you go clearly beyond what's needed, prosecutors look at excess of necessary defense, and you could get in trouble. The law gives you much more room in two situations and does not treat your actions as too much, even if the attacker is badly hurt. One is when the attacker is armed or there are several attackers. The other is when someone violently and unlawfully breaks into your home or other premises. There is also a Heat of the moment rule. If the scene is so chaotic that a normal person could not judge exactly how much force was right, the law will not punish you just for misjudging it. If you reasonably thought you were under attack, that can also protect you. Wartime rules add protection for actions against the armed aggressor. They do not turn normal robberies or personal fights into open season. Street crime cases still use the basic self-defense test above. In practice, a gun pointed at your face in a shop can justify lethal force. Two attackers jumping you can also justify stronger force. Shooting a pickpocket who is running away is likely illegal because there is no immediate threat. So when the sirens stop, martial law ends. What actually happens? Chapter 5. What happens to Ukraine after the war? When martial law ends, the extra powers shut off. Emergency public carry ends. The country returns to Order 622. To close the book on it, the state must collect the state-issued weapons, match serial numbers, and record any lost or damaged items. This is to prevent black market leaks. People must return state-issued firearms within 10 days. Service in war efforts does not auto-turn into private gun rights. A volunteer can apply like anyone else under 622. Their background should help, but it isn't a free pass. When the war ends, hopefully sooner than later, expect the audits on the state-issued weapons. Keeping a state gun after deadline can bring serious charges. Could rules stay looser after the war? Only if Parliament passes a full law. That law could change storage rules, ammo limits, or who can apply, but until then, normal peacetime rules are supposed to return. Let me know in the comments if you tell the government you lost your rifle or give it back. And to my American concealed carriers, we make concealed carry sweatpants, concealed carry athletic shorts, and concealed carry cargo shorts, perfect for self-defense, comfort, and looking great. All linked below, or go to relaxfittactical.com to see our full selection. If you don't conceal carry, it doesn't matter. We have a ton of great t-shirts. Hit the like, comment 2A if you carry, and don't be lame, subscribe.